Hello, welcome to episode 20 of Digital ILIAD. We're making an FTL-like in Godot. I'm Dave. We've switched back to my old microphone, and I'm still kind of working on tuning it back to where we want it to be, so apologize for that process. We skipped a stream yesterday. I was at the dentist, but now we're back and ready to get working again on this fine Wednesday. Alright, so we're continuing to agonize over our tile map. That's like the thing that's bothering us most. We did this kind of last stream. We did kind of a cool asymmetric one with these wall-less hallways, which I don't know how I feel about. I think I'm interested in incorporating these kind of walkways without walls, but I kind of want them to be done in open spaces, like as catwalks. Which means we kind of need a more cavernous open floor plan. Which I think is cool. I think that's a fine thing to do. So we're gonna go back and just keep drawing here. So today's probably going to be another quiet stream where we just kind of work on our tile map. So this is all on the wrong layer. So nobody told me you could just right-click to erase and left-click to place. Thought I had to enable and disable this eraser tool all the time. It even says it in the tooltip. God, I never read tooltips. Same with the picker. Okay, it's good to know. So we're gonna make 5 starship levels here, which might be too many. Might be too many, but it's what we're going to start with. You might ask me why, I'm not totally sure myself, but if we look at like this one, which is not compact, we're able to make room for 4. So I think we can reasonably support 5. And if we make more cavernous open spaces where there's a bit more of a blend between the two, I think that will be okay. We are making a hero ship, which is more of a cargo ship, so I think we want the belly of the ship, the bottom level, to be like kind of enormous. As we all know, most hero ships are combat freighters. Five might be too many. But let's just do it. What's the harm? The reason we're laying them out now is so that we can start building from the bottom up, which is maybe not the right approach, but it's how I'm thinking about this, so it's what we're gonna do. Need everyone's Y sorted? No. Also, we managed to complete 20 streams, which feels impressive to me. We're at the big episode 2.0, which I hope I mentioned at the beginning of the stream. So, you know, I wanted to say thank you to all 20 of my followers for getting us here. I am quite genuinely grateful to every single one of you. Alright, so let's think more about this. So we want the big room on the bottom. We need to leave some room on the top, so let's restrict ourselves to a certain extent. I wish they would just show me the whole tile map shape here. Like I wish I could see the whole grid instead of have it kind of fade out. Like I get why it fades out. I don't want to see all of it though. Alright, let's be rough with this. So that's too low. So maybe, so that would be the lowest, and then what's one level above that? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a layer, so yeah, let's do one up like that. That's good. So that gives us, oops. So that means we have like the space down here. Can we be a little, let's be a little less, let's give ourselves a little less room. This might be too little room if I go for like something like this. We're just kind of blocking out some space at this moment. So if I put it here, the roof, the next floor, there's basically 3 tiles between floors. So we're just trying to space this out in a way that's more balanced. So that would mean putting a tile here. I want room in each corner for obviously both for the UI obviously, but also I want you to be able to see enemies. Which maybe that only makes sense for like the front. Maybe it doesn't totally make sense to see enemies behind you. Kinda wanted that. Hey Robotech. How's it going? We're continuing to just space stuff out and draw some tile map stuff. Just think about the space that we're working with. I'm trying to be more conservative with it, like so. Right now I'm just making some bounds that I think might be good. Like maybe this is the space we want to work with and leave some space. It's kind of hard to see the pink outlines, but leave some space. Because I think we were being a little too aggressive. Like this is good. This little asymmetric one we drew last stream. I think it's like leaves lots of space. Obviously it doesn't leave a balanced amount of space, but I think what we used to have, which was this, was just maybe filled the space a little too much. So we're just thinking about a more compact design. Anyway, how's it going? How's it going with you? So at the, we're on the 1st again. Let's go to the 5th. We'll leave this as just a visual guide here. I don't think we're going to end up sticking to this guide a ton, but maybe we will. So bottom level, as always, we want our cargo bay. We're going to have a lift right in the middle, which I guess I can demonstrate by putting a hole there. We're going to have a big cargo lift that's going to be like a 2 wide cargo lift so that people can put stuff on here. Maybe it wants to be more than 2 wide. So we need room for the stuff and the people carrying the stuff. Maybe it'll be 4 wide. Because we're making like a hero ship, which is, as I've mentioned before, is always a combat freighter. Like the Millennium Falcon, the Serenity. There's probably others I can't think of. There's a long lineage of combat freighters that we want to build off of. So we want room in the middle for a lift. We want room on the sides. You're doing well. You have a random question about how I feel about game jams. You know, I think game jams are awesome. I think getting a feel for what it actually takes to finish a game is probably one of the better ways that you can spend your time, especially early on. I also think it encourages people to just like find the fun. Like, I think it encourages people to just get out of their head and avoid doing what I'm doing, where you're kind of, you know, taking a lot for granted and kind of just crunching away in a vacuum on something that you don't actually know is fun. Because it really just forces you to embrace the rapid iteration loop. And I think the rapid iteration loop is like the lifeblood of game design and game development in general. That said, I don't do game jams. But that's more because I just don't have time. So this is an enormous cargo hold we're making, but I think this is kind of what we want to do. We'll just make the bottom of the ship just a cargo hold. Because I want to have a physical inventory in the game. So you can actually see as you get cargo. I think that's cool. So we'll start with that. Let's throw in some walls. Probably put some airlocks in here. Probably put some airlocks down on the corner here. Seems reasonable. But let's worry about airlocks and stuff later. Anyway, that's how I feel about game jams. What are you thinking about as far as game jams? Are you deciding whether it like makes sense, or what you're trying to determine what you want to get out of a game jam? So I think it's important to have goals going into a game jam for sure. Obviously beyond just, you know, I'm trying to make a game, but like I think it really forces you to prioritize. Kind of want just an empty wall section that I can just plug into the back. I know it doesn't matter which one I pick, but okay, well that's good. We kept within the bounds that we wanted for this level, largely. We kind of filled out the space. We could arguably move down one to be a little more visually balanced. How wide did we end up making this? 16? A 16 by 16 room? That sounds fine. It's pretty enormous, but I think that's okay with what we're trying to do. Since this is the bottom of the ship, we might end up moving it down a little more. Oh, you lost signal? Yeah, no worries. I think game jams are good. I think it kind of forces you to short circuit the like game dev cycle like it forces you to experience the entire game development cycle in a very short period of time, and it kind of forces you to embrace iteration and like finding the fun over like, you know, what at least I personally do, which is to, you know, come up with ideas and kind of put a lot of effort into them before I've had a chance to really prove that it works. Like, I'm kind of cheating with this game because I'm like very consciously making a game like FTL, which gives me the confidence to kind of, you know, spend weeks working on tile maps and iterating on stuff without, you know, having a really simple gray box simulation going. But yeah, I think it's good. And again, that said, I don't really do them. But that's more of an issue of not having time. Alright, so 4th area. So the 5th was the cargo level. I went to the barber. Yes, I did. I'm cleaning up. GDC is next week. Gotta look good. At least as good as I can. So that's exciting. So yeah, we've got the Game Developer Conference next week. Looking forward to it. I think I want to move this whole thing down one more. Just bias it towards the bottom level. Anyway, how's it going, Enamoth? I missed yesterday, but I forgot to mention that I was going to not stream yesterday, but it was planned. Nothing came up. Nothing was crazy. Just had to go to the dentist. Okay. Let's get back on track here. Alright, so bottom level is going to be this enormous cargo bay. One level up, we're going to have like more of a reactor room, a reactor area. I think we'll have a point for this lift to empty out, and then we'll have some branches. We'll have like the reactor room above and maybe 2 engine rooms on each side. And I think we'll have the reactor... I think we'll have the reactor room... I don't know. I think it'll be something like here. So let's go up. Okay. Let's go up. 4th. 1, 2. So that would be the corner. Oh, gotta pick something. Why is this not? Oh, I'm in selection mode. Maybe we don't need 2 engine rooms. Maybe we just want the one, because I'm realizing we do want to keep space in the corners open, but we can be a little less conservative about how we use the top and the bottom right along the center line. Oh, you envy me? Yeah, I am very close to the GDC. I'm like a 30-minute bus ride. Just kind of the only reason I can afford to go. I'm excited. Last GDC I went to, I was still a Unity dev, So I'm excited to, really be more present for like the Godot portions, which I kind of was more ignorant of last time I was there. The one downside though is I definitely won't stream at all next week. Which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I think so. I think last year was pretty good for Godot. For Godot, their booth was big. It was at least as big as the Unity one. I wasn't as engaged or aware of Godot that time. Godot GDC hype. Oh, hey, Two Ninja Nerds, you can't be there. Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting. Gonna try to meet some more of the devs involved in Godot in the scene. How open should this space be? Is the question here for me. I don't think it should be very open. Godot, more like Godot Developers Conference. Yeah. I hear they have their own. There is a GD conference, but I don't know if I'd be able to make it to one of those. I hear those are usually in like Europe. It's not usually something I could do. I end up with this very donut-shaped ship. It's going to be very Millennium Falcon. I think I'm okay with that. I'm just trying to think about the lessons we've learned about how I can position these in such a way. Like, I enjoy our asymmetrical ship, but when I was looking at these like wall-less corridors, I was really thinking if I have a wall-less corridor like this, it should really be like a catwalk. It should be like an open catwalk. And so I'm thinking more about how to incorporate that kind of a design into what we're doing. Kind of why I'm drawing these kind of more winding paths here, while still trying to leave it open enough that we can kind of see what's going on. Oh, you were also envisioning some catwalks to your nerds? Yeah, I'm thinking about how to make it a little more cavernous. a little more like you can see a lot more at a time, which makes me think I actually maybe want to move this section back a little bit. Both just from like a visual balance standpoint. I can't move it that far back. I can move it this far back maybe. Can't move it too much farther back. Just in terms of like, or at least at this size, I would need to make it smaller. But I think this is okay. I think this is a little more balanced. It has 3 on one side, 5 on the other. Your brain went to a more industrial ship design, like the ships from Alien. The ships from Alien are like some of the best. Like the Nostromo, is that it? That one's like from Alien. That one is awesome. All right, yeah, so we've got kind of this catwalk thing that's going to kind of ring around the edge. A little concerned about this one that juts into the middle to this lift, but I think that's okay. Why isn't this squared off? It's 5 here and 6 here. Am I off by 1? One, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's right. Don't understand why this one's 5 and the other one's 6. Oh, because it should be 1 over. I see. RSI from Star Citizen. I am gonna admit that I'm not super familiar with Star Citizen. Wow, we're really using the whole buffalo here. This is going off the edge, which is maybe too far. Might need to size some of this down, but that's okay. Let's lay it out first and then think about some of those problems. This off by 1 in terms of should be over here, right? Yeah. Anyway, how's it going, 2 nerdy nerds? Appreciate you stopping by again here. Maybe we do something more like this. I'm gonna get rid of these on the side here, which I don't think we need. This also gives me a cool design space for using the space under the catwalks for stuff. Components, fires, hull, holes, exciting. Yeah. Yeah, for this layer, it's gonna just kind of continue to show you the cargo bay. But I think the cargo bay is a cavernous enough space. I was also thinking about being more explicit about like power conduits too. I was thinking about more having the reactor room be more of a hub, which actually doesn't totally work with what I've been drawing out here, unless we put it more in the middle. Which actually might be more the thing to do anyway, to have this big cavernous cargo hull, maybe put some lifts on the side, and then have like a big reactor suspended over the empty space. So that way even when you're down looking at the cargo room, you could see like the bottom of the reactor. I don't know. I think putting this far forward is maybe not the right move. That's okay. We're just working with the space and seeing what makes sense. I think this puts too much in the front. But I don't know. We could also have our engine room back here. It's also okay. Oh no, you mean like the crew losing balance and there's an enemy fire impact? You mean like people falling over rails and stuff? That would be very Star Trek. Getting thrown to like the adjacent tile or something like that. And if the adjacent tile happens to be off the edge, they like fall. That's why safety rails exist. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I think that's an interesting choice. Oh Lord, what did I do? Oh, it's this level 1 that I was using to space stuff off. Let's turn that off. Definitely need a better way of distinguishing some of this stuff. Yeah, we're running into the isometric problem of having stuff above and forward. I think isometric designs really need to start at the bottom, at the lowest elevation, and work their way up towards the top. So I think putting the cargo bay in the center was a mistake for that reason. We needed to just take advantage of the natural elevation gain. Like having stuff that's higher up in the foreground for an isometric anything just looks confusing and bad. I mean, it doesn't help that I'm using the same color floor panel for everything. We could fix a lot of that by having like this have like a quote-unquote atmospheric perspective. Somehow this reminds you of Galaxy Quest. That is deeply compliment to me. Alright. Let's fill this in. Move it down. Oops. I think the heart of the ship we're going to make... I had an idea about this. We're going to make the heart of the ship the reactor room. And we're going to actually send off like visible, like large power conduits, like in different directions. So that you can see where the power is going. Yeah, this is too big. Let's make this maybe 12 by 12. 16 by 16 is too big. 12 should be fine. Might even want it to be even smaller than that. Not what I wanted. Let's give myself a little more room. That better. And we can make a couple of spots for cargo lifts here. That's what, 4 on this side, 6 on this side. Let's even that up. 5 and 5, 5 and 5. Make it a little smaller. By 10. We're gonna stop at 10 by 10. Because that gives us room for am I trying to do it this way? I made it 8 by 8. Oopsies. I can't count. Now I did 9. We'll get there. Make a couple spots for lifts, about midway up probably. So I guess they should be on the corner, just for the reasons of how things get rendered. I draw a square. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Good point. Okay. Move these back a little bit so I have room for doors. All right. So we're happy with that. put some exterior doors somewhere around here, like airlock doors. Up to the next level. The lift will empty out here. Okay, I need to extend some of these wall tiles to render correctly. That's fine. Doesn't really matter. Oh, are they on? No, okay. Alright. I'm gonna do this a little differently. I think we're gonna have the lift be not its own room, but part of this area, so like this isn't going to be a thing. So I want to do stuff behind it. Putting it in the back means I can't do stuff behind it as easily. So now it'll rise up to here. It'll go from this block up to here. I'm gonna do like a railing ring around here. I'm kind of struggling with is I want like a reactor like here, somewhere around here, somewhere near the middle, and I want to send like a big power conduit up through the middle, and I want to send some off to the side to route to like the major systems, so that like you have to worry about like the power conduits and not just the systems that they feed. Because in Star Trek, you're always like rerouting power and stuff. I'm thinking about how to incorporate that. The easiest thing to do is probably to make it part of the wall. But then I have to just be very careful about where I'm putting walls. Think about this more. Let me see if I can get... I was using Leonardo earlier, but it was like crashing really hard on me, so let me see if I can get it to unfreeze. I'm a little scared doing anything like this live. Come on, Leonardo. I want to like sketch this out, but it's making it really hard. Fullbox is raiding with a party of 8. Oh my god. Captain Fubar. Fullbox. Oh my god. Hey Fullbox. How is it going? You are like my first live raid. How are them doors? We were told to ask what you were making. You can ask, please do. I'll tell you about those. We're making an FTL-like in Godot here. We're making kind of more... FTL's like a top-down game. We're making more of like an isometric side-on game here. Still in the very much the same vein of FTL, like real-time tactics, like you're mainly piloting your ship, commanding your little crew people to go around doing their things. That's the dream. This is what I want, like, you know, something like a bridge scene to eventually look like. Maybe not be quite as busy as this, but this is kind of the aesthetic. However, we're doing a kind of unusual perspective here, and so we're kind of in tilemap hell right now. We've tried a bunch of different layouts. We've tried like this blown out diagram layout where we like separate all the layers like a lot to try to avoid some of this like walls obscuring the tiles behind it. Now we've also tried kind of doing something more asymmetric where we hide walls. We're trying a bunch of different stuff out. We're not super happy with any of it, but Captain Fubar, you're asking about whether the doors do their yet. I'm sorry if that sounded terrible when I tried to do it, or if you didn't hear it at all. We got the doors going. This is our big blast door. Got our big blast door. No sound effects, but we got them. We got them opening and closing now. Got the big one. We also got a smaller one. We're doing all the pixel art here ourselves. Thank you. We're starting small here. It's our 20th stream. Well, 21st stream, actually. This is episode 20. We've only been doing this for a few weeks. But yeah, awesome. You're doing good. How about yourself? I know you're doing good, but what are you working on? I don't think I've seen you on the, I don't think I've seen your stream before. Isometric roguelike is starting small. Yeah. No, isometric roguelike is not starting small. I'm just saying, you know, we're happy to keep, you know, banging our heads against the wall with these basic problems, like the rules of our perspective, and, you know, trying to learn that before getting too carried away. Like, so doors are not airlocks anymore. Doors, we're not stacking the doors, but if you'll notice, the doors have depth now. So we've solved the problem a different way by making it so that the doors occupy tiles. The doors are no longer in between tiles. So I think we've solved the problem of having to use airlocks. So we can use single doors. You're working on a Shapes Factorio-like puzzle game? Oh, that's awesome. You also make weird overlay shenanigans with Godot. Oh, cool, like tools? I feel like we're gonna need some fancy tools for this game for sure. That's really cool. I'm gonna follow you so I know when you're going live here. Got it. Oh, more like game for chat. Oh, cool. Games for chat stuff. Yeah, I have not messed with any of that. I haven't messed with any kind of chat overlay stuff. Because we are normally streaming to, like, just my closest friends here. Just like 1 or 2 people. This is awesome. It's the first raid I've gotten. Only a little bit of a deer in the headlights kind of look from me here. But I really appreciate you all stopping by, Raiders. This is awesome. this normally the time that you're wrapping up? Or are you normally streaming earlier than this? Because I really want to check out your stuff. Let's go room. Let's check this out.
We'll do this. And we're gonna do this. There we go.
Oh no, I have seen you. I have totally seen you stream.
Let me show you what this guy
I remember your camera cart.
box.
That's awesome. I just didn't recognize the...
So, I have a Godot
I did not recognize your name, but yeah, I've totally seen this.
app running that sends information to OBS to move my camera, and it also connects to Twitch so that people can move me around however they want.
Yeah. You were in the Godot engine, like stream raid YouTube video. That's awesome. Yeah, you know, Moth, you got it. That's great. What a blessing to be rated by Godot engine official. I'm definitely not ready for that kind of prime time here. I'd like show my like cardboard cutout of like a level of like a tile map level and be like, so this is what we've got so far. We've redone this like 8 times and we're not happy with it. That's really cool. Yeah, your stuff is awesome. That kind of stream overlay stuff is really cool. This one happened today. Yeah, let's check it out.
But we can't control how much it drives left. It's always a big push. Yeah, I know. I could make it so that it's like a smaller push, but if you push it multiple times, it kind of like stacks. So that would be a better way to do it. So that like if multiple of you are driving the car at the same time, it kind of like stacks the force that's being applied. I think a small push is less distracting too. Oh,
are you gonna land? Exactly.
Oh my god, you guys did it perfectly. Wow. I'm actually impressed.
That's incredible. That is incredible. I mean, that's like technically incredible, and that kind of like viewer engagement stuff is awesome. You're adding a way to draw directly on your overlay. That's so rad. That's such cool stuff. Well, I was hoping to sketch out some more level stuff on Leonardo, but it is completely seized up here, and I cannot use it, seemingly. I'm a little afraid of what I do if I just crash it, but we're just trying to... This is a little asymmetric one we did yesterday. Yeah, that was a pixel perfect trick shot. That was awesome. But our real challenge here is we're trying to take advantage... We're not trying to take advantage. We're trying to think about the way that... So like if I just compress these all back together. So if we just do the simplest thing here, which is to... We kind of blew these apart in like a diagram view as an attempt to avoid some problems that we have. So if we compress this all, this doesn't look great. I also didn't completely finish the overlay. So we're trying to take advantage of the fact that isometric stuff tends to go up in elevation as you head into the background. So we're trying to think about that more for our level design. Instead of artificially separating it out, we're trying to think about how we would draw a series of ship layers that would kind of increase elevation as you go to the back and allow you some more interesting views. Like, what I want to do is something more like a big cavernous cargo room that kind of, you see it and you layer up, you level up to like a reactor that's maybe like a more industrial looking area with catwalks over the previous cargo hold, and then we level up again. And so we're kind of just sketching stuff out. We're not really happy with anything we've done so far. Leonardo, it's an okay, it's one of those like infinite canvas, like rasterizer, like drawing tools. I should just be using MS Paint, but I was trying to use Leonardo to draw stuff and it totally froze up on me. So we just been messing around with the Aseprite. I do love Aseprite. You're right. What are we doing? What are we messing around with Leonardo for? Leonardo is easier to handwrite notes onto. But let's see. Let's do like... No, what is it? It's going to be 640 by 360. Is that our canvas? I think that's our canvas. So thinking about how if we have like a big cargo room here at the bottom, and we have maybe like a bridge way at the top. We're thinking about how we can layer our stuff so that they're not just sandwiched together like pancaked decks that you can't really see anything through. We want to layer them in such a way that they kind of recede. And so they kind of fit around. Like maybe we have like a reactor room that's a little bit higher up, but it's also set back. And maybe with catwalks that crisscross over the cargo hold. We're just trying to make more of a concave shape. And I've been just struggling to design more of a concave shape, because also we have a big problem where the walls, basically if you want to have it so that the walls don't obscure the tiles behind it, you need to leave, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. Like if we have a wall here and we want to have a walkway behind it on the same level, you need to leave these immense spaces. So there's all this visual dead space that we can't use. We also have other problems where I'm kind of putting the doors always on the right and left corners, because I found that if we put the doors in the middle, they take up a huge chunk of the room. So we're just kind of learning the constraints that we have using this bizarro diametric perspective, where each wall is basically 3 tiles high. And so the shadow it casts is long. And if you put them too close, you end up getting these weird MC Escher, like how does the layers work problem. So that's been our struggle. So it's going to end up being a roller coaster tycoon in space. I don't mind that. I wouldn't mind that. But yeah, we were trying to, today we started by just drawing a little big cargo hold in the bottom, and we wanted the cargo hold to be multiple tile levels high, so I was starting to put another wall here. But if we do that, yeah, we kind of limit what we can do in terms of, like, if I want a hallway that runs from the front of this all the way to the back to a reactor room back here, it just needs to go all the way over and all the way over. And I think it's long, and I think it can create some interesting winding passageways, but we're just... The idea that I had to, if we get rid of this, maybe thicken our lines up here so that it looks better when I'm drawing this here. What I wanted to do was to have something like, maybe we had like a reactor, we have like some kind of big reactor thing here. Some kind of big reactor room. I wanted to have conduits, I want to have power conduits that like reach out in one direction, maybe to the engines. Like we have 2 that reach out sideways in the engines, and we have another one that goes up to the next level, and then maybe out again to feed more systems. I wanted to be more conscious about where the power conduits are, like how power is flowing throughout the ship, because that's very Star Trek, is like we need to reroute power, we need to send power this way or that way. And I'm trying to reconcile that with the constraints that we have, with the way that our walls obscure stuff. So like I could run a power conduit along the side here, along this back wall. But if I wanted to transfer forward, or if I wanted to move it along in front of this walkway, we're now obscuring the walkway with something. So I'm trying to just think more about that. So we're not really, this is not a particularly productive stream, it feels like. It's kind of just a take note of the failures of like every little level design I do and kind of just think about what are the constraints that we have. And how can we go forward with this design? Productive stream, what is that? You never heard of it? Yeah, feel that. Fortune's favorite. Yeah, I need to change to, yeah, I do need to start coding in assembly. I read more about that creator recently, that Roller Coaster Tycoon is truly like maybe one of the pinnacles of like achievements in game programming. It's like incredible what that person managed to do, whose name escapes me at the moment. But anyway, we're trying to deal with some of these problems by, I was like painting. I was painting like catwalks. These ones were just kind of running along the walls so that I could maybe add another level. I'm kind of thinking what we might do, which might be kind of cool, is just kind of have a big cavernous middle of the ship, have like cargo down at the bottom, maybe have some rooms that kind of exist off to the side. That's too big, but just have some rooms that are more off to the side of this cavern shape. And then maybe have like a big reactor that's suspended from the top of it so that you can kind of see the bottom of it if you're down in these layers. Like you can kind of see. I think that might be kind of cool. Have more of a catwalk. I'm kind of torn because FTL is very famously like kind of like our original design here. FTL is very famously all of the rooms are compartmented. Like every room has a door. Like here I put some little external doors so that you could like vent the atmosphere. And I thought this solved a lot of our visual problems, but this layout ended up being like very two-dimensional. Like it's just flat, and it's because I was afraid of drawing into the background. Like in principle, I wanted to present all of the gameplay information to the player at all times because that's like a good usability thing. But what I ended up with is something that's just trivial. Like, yeah, there's some rooms. I put some little wall consoles in there just so like, because I wanted to look at something that you could like turn on, that like characters could walk up to and turn on and start working on. They don't do anything, but yeah, I think I might need to give up on some of the FTL stuff, like having very segmented rooms and controlling the atmosphere. Because of this isometric perspective, I might just need to design more of a cavernous space just to prevent some of the obfuscation issues we're having. Why not make it so you can select a level and separate that level from its top and bottom levels? Would be a nice little animation. That was kind of what we were going like here. So we were gonna say, so with this we were gonna say, you know, if you're in an exterior ship view, which is when you like target enemy ships or whatever. If you're not looking at the inside of your ship, we'd animate and all of these levels would collapse back down on top of each other to, to free up some screen space for doing stuff, for looking at stuff around the ship. Like if there's an enemy up here in the upper left or upper right or bottom right. We were thinking about doing that, about raising it up and lowering it back down. I'm leaning more in towards just you hide layers as you scroll down into the deeper layers. You like hide or make transparent the layers above them, or semi-transparent. You have learned giving the player all the information at the same time is actually a bad idea. That's a good point. I guess every time I see a game that does that, that does have everything visible on one screen at a time, that maybe is an information overload. There's definitely a lineage of games that does really, really well at that, like Imperialism is like a good example, I think. Is that the right name? Yeah. That was like a single screen strategy game. And FTL obviously does that. Everything is always on the one screen. I mean, you can look at some of your ship functions and those are pop-up menus and stuff. But yeah, I think we are moving away from this kind of everything all at once to more of a layered solution here. And like I kind of liked this asymmetric setup that we were working with and like just do different layers. But I'm not super happy with these. To make it possible, I kind of needed to cut out some of the walls so that the foreground walls weren't obscuring things in the background. But I also I'm not totally happy with just the idea of like stacking rooms layouts that look like this. I think we want kind of a hybrid approach where you can just peel layers back, but if you're looking at all the layers, I do want you to be able to see cross sections of everything, or cross sections of more things that are going on. Like the dream being like I don't know, like a Wes Anderson set design, like The Life Aquatic or something like that. It's kind of an inspiration. That's not side on, so it doesn't have the same perspective problems that we have, but I love that kind of cutaway ship design look. Have I looked at how games like Fallout and other games like that handle the different levels and such? I should. Who was I watching playing Fallout 1? Jackie Codes. Jackie Codes was playing Fallout 1, and that did pique my interest a bit. I feel like that game didn't have a lot of verticality to it, but maybe I just was only watching more of the outdoor and the town scenes. Maybe more at the dungeons actually do have a lot more verticality than it. Just found Space Wreck seemed to use an isometric tile set that's less squished than yours. Space Wreck, let me see. Oh yeah, this looks cool. Let's see if we can get a good picture. This is a decent picture. So like this sort of thing. Yeah. This is good. This is straight up isometric. Which is quite good. So the deal with that, I have like a little perspective comparison here. So they were doing something like this. So their lines were all, their axes were aligned this way. We're doing, and it's more of a top-down look, so they have a much easier problem where one of these tiles only ever like obscures the tile in front of it, and it only obscures like part of it. Whereas I have this thing, which overall it takes up the same amount of space, but the problem is that I end up obscuring so much more space. So I need a lot more negative space. So I need to decide what to do with the negative space. Maybe having big hollow sections of the ship would look cool. Maybe that would be a cool way to deal with the negative space, and being less committed just having walls everywhere in the, like, immediately behind a walkway. I think that could look cool. It might end up causing us to have weird bulbous spaceship designs. or just being less strict about when I draw walls. That was another thing that's been discussed, because at the moment the rule is very simply like background walls are drawn, foreground walls are not drawn. But if you commit to that, then you have certain consequences. Whereas if you skip some of these, you can do a little bit more. I think for you, it's the line that looks more jagged that you don't like. Oh, you don't like you don't like as much the traditional isometric 2x1, the 2 over 1 up or down. Yeah, for me, a lot of it came down to how I captured my characters. My characters are drawn very side on. They're drawn very side on, so they end up kind of just, they would look very weird. They would look very weird in an isometric environment. And they're really simple because I am not much of an artist, but this is what we're working with so far, and I think zoomed out will look okay. But yeah, that kind of forced me to take on more of this lower camera angle. Oh, you prefer the traditional one. It's less noisy. Interesting. Yeah, I have a bit of a problem with how I've drawn this so far. Like, you can kind of see it captured here in this little concept art I drew, where the characters are drawn side on. Some of the stuff that they interact with, like these chairs, are also drawn side on. But everything else in the background environment is drawn at this 4x1 diametric perspective. I do like this. I think it's intimate. I think you have a good point about noise. Yeah. Pixel art is tricky, that's for sure. That's why I picked this really low resolution, because for me it was a lot easier to decide whether something looked right or not if I was using this like really low resolution. Like, I had a much easier time making decisions. And when I tried higher resolutions, I just started to struggle with too many choices about what pixels should be what. Could benefit of a good shader on it. Maybe. We definitely want to do some shader stuff, do some interesting. Like, I don't want this super flat look completely. I don't want this totally flat look. Like, we definitely need to mess around with lighting. I think it's such a low resolution. I don't know how we would smooth out the edges without kind of losing its crisp pixel art look. But this is also very zoomed in compared to like what it would look like at scale, which would be more like, this is a 360p canvas. So things are pretty zoomed out, which has its own readability problems for sure. So yeah, it's your target resolution. The can the viewport resolution is 640 by 360, so that I can scale up to 720p, 1080p, both 720p and 1080p without having any half pixel issues. It's both a lot of pixels and also not a lot of pixels. 360p here. But Yeah, an example of what I'm dealing with right now as far as like a complexity of isometric is I was like, where am I going to put? I want a lift. I want like a lift that brings stuff out of this pit, out of this cargo hold, up a level to more where the systems are. And I could put the lift here at the back, but then as the cargo hold fills up, you can no longer see the lift because stacks of cargo will be in front. But so I kind of need to put the lift in the front so that you can always see it, even as the cargo hold fills up in the back. Could put them on the side is the only other thing. That's kind of what I've been going for with these. You can kind of see it here. I tend to have the ways in and out of rooms on the corners, on their left and right corners, to deal with some of this stuff. Yeah, we're just trying different stuff. We're hoping we find something that works eventually here. And we can start building more complex layer levels. There's Meeple Station that also does isometric stuff. Let's check that out. Oh yeah, I've seen this. Yeah, this is cool. This is quite good. And yeah, again, it's the true isometric, quote unquote, true isometric. It's like the pixel art isometric. It's the 2 over 1 down. And yeah, again, they're also cutting off the foreground walls in a way that makes it really visually easy to see, which is probably more what I should be going for. I should be more comfortable doing that. But it seems less appropriate for me because of the more side-on view. Yeah, I feel like my perspective is both like a differentiator for me, because not a lot of games look exactly like this, but it is also introducing unique problems that I need to have a more thought through solution for. Yeah. No, I shouldn't be too self-conscious about this stuff, but it's definitely the most people I've streamed for so far. It's kind of a nice just working on stuff in obscurity. But it's also nice for people to stop by. It's really awesome to get some more eyes on this, especially when more experienced eyes. Yeah. I think I'll always be self-conscious about my pixel art. This is really the first time I've committed to like doing pixel art. Like this is one of the first pieces I made. So I'm still really feeling it out. I'm getting more comfortable with it. I'm finding that animating mechanical stuff like this is pretty enjoyable for me. Definitely gonna have a harder time with characters. Like I don't mind drawing my little characters, but I've definitely had a hard time animating them. Like there's this animation I was working on. Do I have it here? Yeah. Like I was trying to draw like fighting. And I'm like reasonably happy with this, but I can't get the crossover of the arm. I can't communicate that. So to me it just looks like this person just keeps punching with their left arm, punching and blocking with their left arm and never using their right arm for anything. So I need to keep working on this stuff. But I'm enjoying it. I'm definitely enjoying art and animation a lot more than I thought I would. Yeah, you're all about machines and straight lines, can't make organic curvy things. That's definitely a struggle, but I'm definitely more into it than I thought I would be, which is good because kind of committed to doing it all. If I was doing isometric, I could probably find art assets and stuff for what I want, but this is such an unusual perspective. I'm kind of just committed to doing it. All right, so get rid of all this here. So we want this cargo bay. I'm going back again towards the idea that maybe we make a door here and put the lift in the back here so we have it as a separate room so we can seal this room off. I don't know. This is maybe something I just need to sketch off stream and then come back and try to draw it out here in the tilemap editor. Grab some food. Well, thanks for the raid, Toolbox. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the raiders for stopping by. Oops. Oh, I turned my music off when I was watching those videos. So if we are going to have a central reactor and power conduits moving out in each direction, I can't really curve them in. I think the mistake I was trying to do was I was trying to redirect. Once things went out to the side this way, I was trying to redirect them back towards the middle. I was saying, I'll send everything out towards the side, and then I'll send it back towards the middle back. And I think that is like a bridge too far here. I don't think we can loop stuff back in because of the foreground background problems we're having with rendering walls. So I think we just need to be comfortable with having them shoot off to the sides like this, and then up, and then maybe out a level higher, or even just out from here. I think having a little bit of verticality is good. Not trying to do too much on any given tile map layer, I think, is going to be important. In which case, it's okay that we have like a lift here in the foreground at the bottom tip of the cargo bay that lifts up here to this catwalk, and then we can kind of send stuff out either up the front here to where there's going to be a reactor room, or over to the sides here where there's going to need to be some engines, like an engine room. I don't think I can get away with having like multiple doors on a given corner. I haven't exactly tried it, but I don't think we can do this. Like, I don't think we can have a door here. I think we can have a door here. And another door here. I think that's a non-starter. Maybe not. Maybe that's not the worst. But I think it's definitely some problems. Yeah, so if we put it in the right spot, which would be like here. Right there. And there. I think that's like maybe a little too much obfuscation. Maybe not. Maybe we shouldn't be afraid of that. Maybe this is okay. Because the doors are usually going to be open. Like, they should usually be in the open state, right? So what do we save the door like this? Do we see it open? Yeah, so if that door is like that, let's grab the other one. It would definitely make some stuff, definitely make some stuff easier. We just think about it that way. So yeah, so if both of these doors are open, I wonder if I can turn off the visualization of these, because I don't want to disable the whole thing. I think that disables the whole thing, right? Or does it just change the canvas item visibility? In Unity, doing this would disable the whole game object, but maybe this is actually just affecting its visibility. And that's what it looks like it's doing. In which case, I definitely don't want to visualize these. Only visibility. Oh, I did the whole thing. Well, that's a nice touch. Okay, I actually don't mind that. I've been concerned about setting up doors, 2 doors on like adjacent corners like this, but I actually think this is okay. I actually don't think that's a huge problem, especially if they're usually open. If there's a script, it will still run, so it's important to know that. Yeah, no, that's ideal. I don't want to disable that. I just wanted to not look at it. So we could have our engines here. I'll leave plenty of room so that if we're looking at the outside of the ship, you can see these big engines hanging off the back here. Cargo bay might be too big. I need to balance some of this stuff out. Then we can hang the reactor room here off the back. Similarly, I don't think we mind. The only thing is... Oh yeah, and I won't render these walls, because by my own reckoning here, we would normally want to draw these walls out here. But that blocks too much, and I think we don't want to do that because we want to show the power conduits traveling from the reactor over to the engines. So we could show that and ignore the walls. I think that'll be good. We'd throw a couple more of these doors here. So we can at least close off this room in case we want to vent it. It's not looking too bad. There's some walls on the back here. It's weird. We actually have room if we want to send something off to another room over here. Actually have room for that. I think you should have some placeholders for those things inside those rooms to see if the size of them is okay. I think you're right. I think we need to spend some time just mocking up. We need to think about how much detail we can pack at this resolution, and then think about how big we want a reactor or an engine or like a weapon console or something. We need to think about how big we want those to be, because right now we are kind of just guessing as far as our room sizes. Yeah, imagine if later you have to change that. I realize I have to change that. Yep, that would be rough. So this is okay. This is heading off in an okay direction here. Really is only like one level of like verticality, which is we've got like a cargo bay that you can kind of see from the next area here. Not like maybe a great test of what we're trying to do. But I think that's on me to just try to work some more of that out on the side here. It's definitely something I still struggle with, is just having time after work to do more stream prep. And I'm definitely paying for that by just not being super clear or sure what I'm trying to do when I sit down. You keep changing your art and resolution, it's hell. It is crazy that it takes time. The time it takes to make art, yeah, it is crazy. Yeah, I just watched that video of Game Maker's Toolkit, I think, was it, who was like, I completely remade all of the art for my game. Because he didn't think about the being able to render at 1080p. He like only supported multiples of 720. So he had to like redo all his art. That was rough. So that's definitely, that happens to the best of us. What was the question? Do I have a Kanban board? I do. I have so far only really used it for particular things. Because my approach has been to kind of just sit down and work on whatever seems most pressing, which at the moment is figuring out how the tilemap layers work. And like, because it's just me and I'm a one-person team, I'm not really coordinating or communicating anything, so I haven't found a huge use for the Kanban board. It's definitely a good way to get a glance at everything that you need to do, but that dude is slowly going crazy with his game. Oh, and also Phil Fish. Yeah, he remade the art for that game like 3 times. That makes sense. It's a nice Kanban tasks plugin for Godot. Oh, okay. And you can like tie it to like assets in the Godot engine. That'd be cool. I'm gonna check that out. Why doesn't this look right? Did I just place this wrong? It should be like here. Yeah. We're having some Z fighting. It's weird. I have to look at that. Why are we fighting on that side but not this side? Shouldn't have a problem. This should just be rendering in front. Okay. I don't want to think about that right now. Did I just draw this wrong? It seems like it's not matching up correctly. Yeah, I think I made a mistake when I drew that. But maybe one day. Okay, it's in the asset library. I will check that out. I definitely have just a basic like Trello Kanban board for some stuff. I have one for like streaming, for like all the stuff I wanted to do before I started streaming, of which I did not do most of them. Oh yeah, this asset is wrong. It's the wrong size. It's like a tile too, it's like a pixel too high in the back, and it's off. And I think that's making it off the line in the front. Okay, well that's fine. I'll have to fix that. So this sort of look is like fine. It's not super dynamic. I think we are accomplishing some of what we want to do by being able to see into the pit here. I think the next thing I want to do is look at making the reactor room bigger and recreate some of this same thing, so that there's a big reactor room and there's like catwalks either along the side or crisscrossing the front on the layer above it. I think it is a good idea. Someone had an idea earlier of trying to make this ship more industrial, like more cavernous and industrial, like a ship from Alien or something like that, instead of being more compact and clean, like a Star Trek ship. And I think that's interesting. I think from an art standpoint, I might struggle to capture that very well, but from a level design standpoint, I think that's maybe an interesting idea to explore. All the things you want to do for stream. You seem to do a lot for your stream, for what you can do during a stream, and that's really cool. Speaking of not enough time in the day, it's after 9:30 here. I gotta get ready for my day job. But that's okay. We're not too upset with what we did today as far as trying out some more options for level designs. I'm going to try to sketch this out more tonight on a notebook somewhere it's easier to like iterate. I actually have a diametric grid notebook around here somewhere. I'm going to try that. And we'll come back tomorrow. Oh, you don't have a job though, trying to make a game as your job? That's very brave. I think that's really cool. I think that's very brave. I am not there, obviously, based on what you see here. Maybe someday, but we're just starting out. This is honest. I've only just barely started working in Godot. I was in Unity for a long time. I was a Unity hobbyist developer for probably like 15 years. And then something happened, which we don't have to talk about. And I've started trying to learn how to use Godot. So we're very much in the learning mode here, in the learning mindset. We're really not trying to execute on production right now. We're learning the kind of unique characteristic of our game about what we've chosen in terms of our perspective. We're learning how Godot works. So I have very low expectations for productivity. And we're also learning how to stream because I've only been streaming for about a month, actually, almost exactly a month, and it's been a really cool learning experience. It's really great, like meeting new people every day. It's definitely been motivating in a way that I wasn't expecting it to. So that's really great. And yeah, I do have to wrap it up here, but it's been really awesome. I really appreciate the raid full box. I appreciate you and the raiders coming by. It's been really great. Hopefully I'll be able to tune into you before I stream while I'm eating breakfast. That'd be cool. I'll check you out more often. See, I can't wait to see how the overlay kind of gets built up. Oops. Oh well, so we'll be back tomorrow. And yeah, thank you raiders as well for stopping by, and regulars, Moth, it's always great to see you. Yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.